I'm just saying, you could just see the strength is what I'm trying to say. We're breaking down ENHYPEN's Fatal Trouble dance practice. As you guys know, ENHYPEN is a strong group of dancers, and I think in this dance practice specifically, they really show the strength behind their movement, and how they show that is probably my favorite part, or like my favorite thing about this dance practice. So I'll go and break it down for y'all. Don't forget to subscribe, and let's go, baby. I think this is such a great intro here. We get everyone starting off the floor in a diagonal formation, and then they're gonna start us off with 3 ripple effects to get into this reveal right here. So we have a line, plus we get this reveal where he gets out of the line to hit that first base. And I know we just hit 10 seconds into the video, or 12 seconds, but I just wanted to point this entire part out because this is kind of the way that this is set up, is to kind of make you curious about what's going to happen next, because they're starting off on the floor with a diagonal formation plus this specific pose right here. It makes you wonder what they're going to do to get off the floor. Great visual effect for that ripple. We got that nice reveal with the bass. And see how they're hitting the musicality as well? There's a lot of reverb. And I'm gonna go over that reveal too, because it was unexpected, right? So before we get into this combo right here, I think what really stands out for me when it comes to them doing the choreography here is that extra oomph that I'm talking about, the strength, and how there's a lot more of reverb type movements where they're really hitting the bases. And because they're wearing a little bit more on the baggy side of clothes, you can kind of see it because their clothes are kind of like jumping as they hit these basses and or snares. Man, I'm just saying, you could just see the strength is what I'm trying to say. And then I really like the way they hit the snare here. There's a little bit of an ISO right here with their heads plus the bodies. There you go. That's the reverb that I'm talking about. So here you can see that they hit a double bass. And what's cool about that is that you can also see it in their hair, because they have longer hair, and when you hit basses or just body hit really strong or with a lot of energy, you tend to see it more in the hair and clothes. Great reveal here. What I really like too is the way they made that unexpected for us, right? And what we're seeing here, especially with this type of song, is that we're getting more of a dramatic vibe from them. So when you pay attention to their facials, you can see that they're kind of more being dramatic about it. And I think a lot of it has to do with this song. So I want to go back to where Nikki was center here. The way that they kind of approach this becomes a little bit more on the softer side, I think, in my opinion. More on like the breathy side, to give us that contrast from getting all these bass hits, right? All these body hits, that the heavy hitting that we were getting from the beginning. This is now a contrast that we're kind of seeing when we get Nikki to center, and they're still having that extra strength and still hitting a bit of other moves harder than others. However, with this combo, what they're doing, they're just breathing out more and allowing the moves to be a little bit more swift and a little bit more flowy in this combo right here. And this is a great contrast from the beginning. You'll see the speed changes, right? And then we get to the chorus, where they're now going to be a little bit more aggressive with a lot of the movements, while also being subtle with it. Man, this chorus is so good. Makes me want to sing along. So I think when we go back here, when they start off the chorus, we're gonna feel that dramatic effect where they're really hitting these movements a little bit harder than others, but also going to those speed changes to give us those. So when I say speed changes, where they speed up in certain moves and slow it down to match the way that they're either singing or the sound of the actual song. And you see how they're more on the cleaner side? They're trying to hit and match the pictures of each other in order to give us that synchronized look. They're being a little bit more full with their movements here. And so, with this specific part right here, oh my god. I just forget how intricate they can really get. So I want to go over the part where we get him to center. I don't know. I don't quite know everybody's names just yet. Really just Nikki, to be honest, and maybe Jay. We get him to center, right? That's where they slow it down a little bit. Right? Where this is, I don't know you. I don't know if they're trying to, I don't know. I don't know if they're actually trying to match the way that they're singing here. But what I like about this certain part here is the fact that they are slowing it down now, where they're kind of just going to take their hand and put it on their head and then kind of lean forward a little bit and really ride that out until they get back into hitting the musicality in the back, which is that head part right here. Oh, so they're hitting this. I'm just gonna point this out. This is just like a tiny favorite part of mine. All right, where they hit this with their finger and their head, the sound in the back. I'm gonna do it again. One more time. Ooh. I know it's not a lot, but the floor part. Oh my god. Okay, so with the floor part, what I really appreciate about how they did it is the fact, again, there was no anticipation of the movement. So when you watch this for the first time and you watch it all the way through without pausing like I'm doing right now, is how it essentially catches you off guard, because what they're doing right before the floor part, they're turned around and they essentially are going to start moving to the other side of the room. But what I really like is that they prepped it in a way where us as the watchers don't anticipate that, because they also don't anticipate the movement. They smoothly transition themselves into that knee section, and then they're going to do another knee section to go back and reset. But that's what's really nice about that kind of like formation change, or I guess you're moving formations in this case. It was just so smooth that you didn't really expect that they were going onto the floor, or at least onto their knees again. Great way to just kind of catch your audience off guard, right? Ooh. And now if you pay attention to their facials too, like I said earlier, they really are being more on the dramatic side versus trying to... The way that I'm going to explain it is they're not really here to try to like have these facials where they're trying to reel you in by like being more of like biting their lips or raising their eyebrows. You can see that they're a little bit more I don't even know how to explain the dramatic facials, but you can tell from here when you look at their faces, or you get to the part where the camera is a little closer to their face, you can really see that they're trying to give us this different type of character. Great use of formations and effects here. Love that. Love that. Great ripple effect. And I think that entire segment and or section is a great contrast from what we have seen throughout the entire dance practice already. So what's cool is that we're going to get this tiny section and they're going to basically play around with effects and formations here. So rather than doing choreo entirely in this section, yes, it's still choreo, but it's more focused on giving us essentially like pictures with effects. So especially right here, right? We get a nice ripple effect where we get like this little arch form right here. And I love how their timing with their music is on point. Otherwise, those effects won't really read. Now, because they all have long hair, you can really tell how hard they're hitting in certain movements. Very clean. The textures are essentially similar throughout everybody. Great way of matching each other. They're doing such a good job of really doing that to give us that synchronized look that I talk about all the time. A lot of patience for that floor work as well. So I'm going to point out something a little bit, extensions. So they're not really dancing inside this invisible small box. A lot of dancers will do this as well, this is where I say recording yourself is really, really important when it comes to trying to improve in dance. In this section where they're gonna get onto the floor, they're really extending out their movements. They're not really dancing inside this invisible box where you feel like you think you're dancing out here, but in reality you're almost like still kind of inside that box. And that's why, because you don't watch yourself dance enough, you might not see that. And so here they do a great job of just really extending out their arms, their movements, to really give us this like full effect of them really dancing to this song and choreo as well, right? And we got a lot of patience and breathing within this floor part. And here's another thing with this part right here, I think. Right here, I'm just gonna go back. So that small part where they're hitting these tick tick ticks and also a pose, it's more on the freestyle side. So it wasn't, for the members, it wasn't really set in stone that they all had to do the same thing. Here they all had different poses on hitting those tick tick noises in the back, but also hitting that one last pose before they move on to the next thing. And so I like that because we're getting individuality from these members versus just having to look the same every single time. Great use of a circle formation. Nice. I think they kind of repeat that same combo from the very beginning, but this time they use the circle formation. So I really like this. What they did here is with the floor part from earlier, which is the second half of the floor part, is that they use a circle formation, doing that pretty much similar choreo to do that knee part, but using that to travel in a circle. Wow. 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 I need to see the last part too. I really like with their arms too. They really don't flail it around when they need to be really strong with their arms. So they're applying energy in their arms so that it's not flaily. Especially for this last part, it's not supposed to be flaily from what I see. They really need to hit those pictures and lines with their arms. So I'm pointing it out there, okay? Damn, they even got me to ENHYPEN got me stuttering over my words, bro, as I go through these videos. Great dance practice from ENHYPEN, and the song is so good. That the chorus were a fatal trouble. I don't sing. I'm just gonna put that out there, but it got stuck in my head as I was watching this video over and over again to pick out details for y'all. But yeah, this is such a great dance practice to really watch over and over again. If you guys like ENHYPEN, don't forget to subscribe. I'm out.